If you love jazz, you know that Vernon's Jazz Club is the place to be on your weekends. Welcome back to New Mexico Style. Vernon's artistic director, Tommy Gearhart, joins us right now. And he brought with him a man who knows his way around the trumpet.
That's right.
This is Paul Gonzalez. Paul, thanks for joining us.
Nice to be here.
Yeah, thank you.
First, Tommy, tell us about Paul's musical ability.
First of all, it's horrible. I'm just kidding. No, Paul is an exceptional musician, and I think that starts by being an exceptional human being. And people play like they are. You know, some people learn to play good, and they can play good for a few songs, but after a while, their personality, you know, the vibe that they have comes out in their playing. And he's one certainly that is very soulful, very skillful, and just a wonderful player that's out in the community doing all that he can, you know, helping teach jazz to kids, helping young musicians. As a matter of fact, my son, who was on last week, got a lesson from Paul recently, so he's 6 years old, so he starts them young.
Well, that is very cool. Do you think that that is sort of limited to jazz, the fact that your personality comes out so much, or has that been your experience across musical genres?
I don't know what you think, Paul, but I think it comes out usually. I mean, maybe in pop music where they're telling you exactly what to do and sing, it doesn't happen that way, but I don't know what your experience has been with it.
Yeah, I mean, with any style of music, I think your personality will come out, but in jazz, you never really play things the same way twice, because you might be feeling happy one day, sad the next, or you know, so it's always going to be different. And it's kind of the way you speak. Everybody speaks their own unique way.
That sounds like a very powerful thing, and you've been doing this for a long time. When did you first pick up the trumpet, Paul?
Oh, about 39 years ago, when I was about 8 years old. So I've been playing for a little while.
And you help youths with it now? That's one of the things you do, is to teach?
Yeah, I teach beginning jazz ensemble classes, kids from about age 7 to about 11, and teach them to play as a jazz group, and they pull it off pretty well.
What do you do to generate enthusiasm?
Well, just getting them to play together and get that spirit of, you know, kind of like a team, and usually they're really into it, and the better they play, the more fun they have.
Well, I think I walked into one of his classes and he had all the kids smoking cigarettes and drinking whiskey. Only kidding, but you know, it's something, you know, people are improvising, so it's getting someone comfortable. There's a lot of smart musicians out there, but to get them comfortable with just playing what they're feeling and just letting go of, you know, all of the societal expectations of trying to be perfect. So I think he does a great job with that.
And now, if the setting that Tommy described sounded good to you with the cigarette smoking and well, not the smoking, right? But,
yeah,
but the drinking and the jazz, it is fantastic, the Jazz Club over at Vernon's.
Yeah, if you're 21 years old, you know, you can come into Vernon's, and Paul has been there. He's had several different ensembles. He's a very unique musician in the fact that he can cross genres and do it really well. He's playing Brazilian music and jazz music and just about any type of music that requires a trumpet, he's there playing, and they'll be here, I think, this Friday. So
this Friday.
You guys performed together before with you singing and Paul playing?
Oh, I try to get him as much as possible. I mean, he's a very soulful guy, and you know, him and I will. He'll bear my scatting, you know, with him, and we'll go back and forth and just have fun. And he tells a story when he plays, so that's always nice to have a musician like that.
Now, I'm always sort of curious about what's going on the inside, Paul, with musicians, jazz musicians in particular. What is it these days that's sort of manifesting itself in your music? Not to pry too much, but it's kind of what I find interesting.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you're practicing, you're thinking a lot about how you want to play, but when you get on the bandstand, you want to kind of turn your mind off and listen to the musicians around you, and it's more like reacting and having a conversation with the band, because I don't think you want to think about music theory and stuff like that. You want to you know, convey your emotions, and you know, just it's kind of like having an easygoing conversation.
And Paul, too, actually does what I do for my real life. You're a DJ on KUNM. You have a jazz show, right?
Jazz show every Monday at noon, and been doing that for about 5 years. a lot of fun.
Very cool. And you get to pick out your own music for that, probably.
Yeah,
right?
pick out my own music from the entire, you know, tradition of jazz to all the brand new stuff today, and I try to play music from the local musicians.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool. Speaking of local musicians, who can we look forward to at Vernon's in the next couple of weeks here, Tommy?
Great. Well, this weekend in particular, we start off with the Jackie Zamora Brazilian Sextet. So it's integrating that Brazilian feel into jazz, and they're unbelievable, and that's Friday at 8:30. And then on Saturday is one of Albuquerque's favorite songstresses, Cathy McGill and her group, which is wonderful for the Jazz Has a Blues series at 8:30. And then Sunday, it's Easter, so I'm going to be with my family, but the great Bob Tate will be playing piano solo, ever faithfully tinkling the ivories.
Oh, well, very cool. And your son said that last weekend was one of his favorite weekends ever with the Muppets in town. Tommy, what was going on with that?
He started off coming on the show and then closed out when we had, I think it was Elmo and Super Grover, and he said, looked at me and said, Dad, this is the best day of my life.
Then any day that you get to meet Super Grover and Elmo, I invoke the name of Elmo when my daughter, who's 2 years old, when she starts acting up, I tell her that Elmo would be very disappointed in your behavior, and she straightens right up. She doesn't care what her dad thinks at all. But
yeah, you don't have to be
Elmo
Catholic.
and Grover, they're pretty big celebrities.
Right. Yeah. You don't have to be Catholic to throw on the guilt, huh?
Well, we are, and it helps too.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. Tommy, we've got your website, too. Tell us about the website, both for the Jazz Club and then also for Vernon's Hidden Valley Steakhouse.
Sure, it's vernonsjazzclub.com and then thehiddensteakhouse.com. And all the information you need, especially regarding the music, is at the Vernon's Jazz Club website, and making reservations for the Steakhouse website.
Vernon's Steakhouse is fantastic. It's there at 6855 4th Street Northwest in Los Ranchos de Albuquerque. Any big event that we have, my wife and I go to Vernon's, our anniversary last year, the food, the service, everything is just fantastic. And we'd like to thank you, Tommy, and you, Paul Gonzalez, who you can catch performing there in the Jazz Club at Vernon's, for joining us. And we look forward to seeing you there. It's always great seeing you guys, and you guys do great work in the community, too. It's nice that you guys are always around and contributing. We appreciate that. Thanks for joining us, Paul.
Thanks. Great to be here.